How to create a connection and become powerful. Master the art of influence, relationships, and personal power. Introduction. The hidden force behind power, influence, and human connection. Power is one of the most misunderstood concepts in the world. Ask most people what it means to be powerful, and you'll hear answers like wealth, status, authority, or control. They imagine powerful individuals as those who command attention, dominate conversations, or sit at the top of hierarchies. But the truth is far more subtle and far more accessible. Real power is not about control. It is about connection. It is the ability to walk into a room and be felt without demanding attention. It is the ability to speak and be heard, not because you were loud, but because your words carry weight. It is the ability to influence people, not by force, but by presence, understanding, and trust. This kind of power doesn't come from external validation. It comes from something deeper, something most people overlook. It comes from your ability to connect with people on a human level. Why connection is the new currency of power. We live in a world that is more connected than ever before, yet people feel more disconnected than ever. Social media gives us access to thousands of people, but very few meaningful relationships. We communicate constantly, yet we struggle to feel understood. We chase attention, but what we truly crave is genuine connection. And here lies the truth. The people who master connection become the most powerful individuals in any environment. They're the ones who build strong relationships effortlessly, influence decisions without pressure, gain trust quickly, create opportunities naturally. They don't beg for attention. They don't force respect. They attract it. The invisible advantage. Think about the most influential person you've ever met. It may not have been the richest or the most famous, but there was something about them, something you couldn't ignore. The way they listened made you feel important. The way they spoke made you trust them. The way they carried themselves made you respect them. That something is not luck. It is a skill, a learnable, trainable, repeatable skill. The skill of connection. And once you master it, everything changes. What this book will do for you. This is not just another self-help book filled with empty motivation. This is a practical guide to transforming how you see yourself, relate to others, influence the world around you. Inside this book, you will learn how to build unshakable confidence that naturally attracts people, understand human psychology and emotional triggers, communicate in a way that makes people listen and remember you, create trust quickly in any environment, develop presence that commands respect without saying a word, build powerful relationships that open doors in life and business. Most importantly, you will learn how to become someone people want to connect with. The shift you must make. If there is one idea you must understand before going further, it is this. Stop trying to impress people. Start trying to understand them. Most people chase power the wrong way. They try to prove their worth. They try to dominate conversations. They try to be seen as important. But real power works differently. Power grows when you listen more than you speak, when you make others feel valued, when you create emotional impact. Because at the end of the day, people don't connect with perfection. They connect with authenticity. Your journey starts here. Becoming powerful is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming more of who you truly are, but with awareness, control, and intention. This journey will challenge you. It will require you to face your insecurities, break old habits, change how you interact with people. But if you stay committed, the reward is life-changing. You will no longer feel invisible in rooms. You will no longer struggle to express yourself. You will no longer chase validation. Instead, you will become confident, influential, respected, connected. And once you reach that level, opportunities will start chasing you. A final thought before you begin. Power is not something you take, it is something you build. Connection is not something you force, it is something you create. And the moment you master both, you become unstoppable. Not because you control people, but because you understand them. Your transformation begins now.
Why connection equals power. Power is not built in isolation. It is not something you hold alone, protect alone, or grow alone. Every form of real, lasting power is rooted in one thing: your ability to connect with other people. Take a moment and think about it. Every opportunity you've ever had, a job, a business deal, a partnership, even a friendship, came through someone. Not just your skills, not just your knowledge, but your connection to people. Power lives in people, not positions. Many people believe power comes from titles: CEO, manager, influencer, leader. But titles don't create power. People do. A leader without followers has no power. A speaker without listeners has no influence. A business without customers has no value. This leads to a powerful truth. Your level of power is directly tied to your ability to connect, influence, and maintain relationships. Connection creates influence. Influence is the ability to shape decisions, thoughts, and actions. But influence doesn't come from force. It comes from trust, and trust comes from connection. When people feel connected to you, they listen to you, they believe you, they follow your lead. Without connection, your words are just noise. With connection, your words carry weight. The emotional bridge. Connection is not logical, it's emotional. People don't connect because you're the smartest person in the room. They connect because of how you make them feel. Do they feel respected? Do they feel understood? Do they feel valued? If the answer is yes, you've built a bridge. That bridge is where power lives. The stronger the emotional connection, the stronger your influence. Connection opens doors that skill alone cannot. Skill is important, knowledge is important, but connection multiplies both. You can be highly skilled and still struggle if no one trusts or knows you. You can be average in skill but rise quickly because people believe in you. Why? Because people recommend people they like, support people they trust, work with people they connect with. Connection turns effort into opportunity. The network effect of power. One connection leads to another. When you build strong relationships, people introduce you to others. Opportunities expand. Your influence grows. This creates a powerful chain reaction. Your network becomes your leverage. The more meaningful connections you have, the more powerful your position becomes. Respect versus fear, the true source of power. Some people try to gain power through fear, intimidation, or dominance. That kind of power is temporary. It creates distance, not connection. And without connection, power eventually collapses. Real power is different. It is built on respect, trust, and understanding. People don't follow you because they have to. They follow you because they want to. Connection gives you presence. Have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and instantly command attention? They don't shout, they don't force themselves on others, yet people feel them. That's connection energy. It comes from confidence, awareness, and emotional intelligence. When you master connection, your presence becomes powerful, even in silence. The hidden advantage most people ignore. Most people focus on being right, being impressive, being noticed. Few focus on being relatable, being understanding, being genuine. That's why true connection is rare, and rarity creates power. The law of connection and power. Here is a simple law to remember. The deeper your connection with people, the greater your influence. The greater your influence, the more powerful you become. Final insight. If you want more power in your life, don't chase control. Chase connection. Learn to understand people. Learn to communicate effectively. Learn to build trust. Because at the end of the day, power is not about standing above people. It is about standing with them while guiding, influencing, and inspiring them. And once you master that, you don't just gain power, you become it.
Part 1. Understanding power and connection. 1. What is real power? Power is often mistaken for control. People think power means dominating others, having authority, being feared, owning wealth or status. But these are surface-level illusions of power. Real power is deeper, more subtle, more lasting. Real power is influence, the ability to shape thoughts, emotions, and actions without force. The difference between force and influence. Force demands compliance. Influence inspires action. Force says, do this because I said so. Influence says, do this because you believe in it. One creates resistance. The other creates alignment. And alignment is where true power lives. The 3 layers of power. To understand real power, you must see its structure. 1. Personal power, inner power. This is the foundation. It includes self-confidence, emotional control, self-awareness. Without personal power, external power collapses. 2. Social power, relational power. This comes from your ability to connect. It includes communication, trust building, influence. This is where most people fail and where the greatest opportunities exist. 3. Positional power, external power. This includes titles, wealth, authority. This is the most visible form of power, but also the weakest if not supported by the first 2. Why most people chase the wrong power? People chase money, titles, and recognition because they are visible. But what they don't see is this. Without connection, external power is fragile. A boss without respect loses control. A celebrity without connection loses relevance. A wealthy person without influence becomes isolated. The truth about real power. Real power is quiet, stable, magnetic. It doesn't need to prove itself. It is felt, not forced, and it grows stronger over time because it is built on connection and trust. 2. The psychology of human connection. To master connection, you must understand one truth. People are driven more by emotion than logic. The emotional brain versus the logical brain. Every human decision passes through 2 systems. Emotional system, fast, instinctive, feeling-based. Logical system, slow, analytical, reasoning-based. Most people believe they make logical decisions, but in reality, emotion decides, logic justifies. What makes people feel connected? Connection happens when people feel seen. They feel acknowledged, not ignored, not overlooked. Simple acts like eye contact and remembering names create this feeling. Heard. They feel listened to, not interrupted, not dismissed. When people feel heard, they feel important. Understood. They feel emotionally recognized. You don't just hear their words, you understand their feelings. This is rare and powerful. Valued. They feel appreciated, not judged, not compared. Everyone wants to feel like they matter. The mirror effect. Humans naturally mirror emotions. Smile, they smile. Show interest, they engage. Show respect, they respect you. This is why your energy matters more than your words. People don't connect with what you say, they connect with what they feel in your presence.
The role of vulnerability. Many people think being powerful means being perfect, but perfection creates distance. Vulnerability creates connection. When you admit mistakes, show emotion, be real, you become relatable. And relatability builds trust. 3. Why most people fail to connect. Despite how important connection is, most people struggle with it, not because they are incapable, but because they follow the wrong approach. 1. They focus on themselves too much. They think, how do I sound? Do I look impressive? What should I say next? This creates anxiety and disconnect. Connection requires shifting focus outward. The moment you focus on others, connection begins. 2. They try too hard to impress. They talk too much, show off knowledge, force conversations. But trying to impress often does the opposite. It creates pressure and inauthenticity. People don't connect with performance, they connect with realness. 3. They don't listen deeply. Most people listen to respond, not to understand. They interrupt, think ahead, miss emotional cues. True listening is rare, and rarity creates power. 4. They fear rejection. Fear holds people back. Fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of being judged, fear of not being liked. But connection requires courage. You cannot connect if you are hiding. 5. They lack emotional awareness. They don't read body language, tone of voice, emotional signals, so they miss opportunities to connect. High-level connection requires awareness beyond words. 6. They are inconsistent. Trust is built through consistency. If you act differently each time, break promises, show unstable behavior, people won't feel safe connecting with you. The core problem. At the root of all these failures is one issue. Most people are disconnected from themselves. And if you are disconnected from yourself, you cannot deeply connect with others. Final insight for part 1. Power and connection are not separate. They are the same force expressed differently. Connection creates trust. Trust creates influence. Influence creates power. Master this foundation, and everything else in this book will become easier.
Part 2. Building Inner Power. 4. Self-awareness, the foundation. Before you can influence others, you must understand yourself. Most people move through life on autopilot, reacting, not reflecting. They don't know why they think the way they think, feel the way they feel, or act the way they act. But here is the truth. You cannot create powerful connections if you are disconnected from yourself. What is self-awareness? Self-awareness is the ability to recognize your thoughts, understand your emotions, observe your behavior, know your strengths and weaknesses. It is seeing yourself clearly, without ego, without denial. Why self-awareness creates power. When you are self-aware, you control your reactions instead of being controlled by them. You communicate with clarity and intention. You project authenticity, which builds trust. People are naturally drawn to individuals who are grounded and certain about who they are. The mirror within. Most people spend time analyzing others, but avoid analyzing themselves. Powerful individuals do the opposite. They ask, why did I react that way? What triggered that emotion? What energy do I bring into a room? This reflection creates growth. How to build self-awareness. Start with these daily practices. Self-reflection. Spend 10 minutes daily reviewing your actions and interactions. Feedback. Ask trusted people how they perceive you. Journaling. Write your thoughts to understand patterns. Mindfulness. Be present with your emotions without judgment. The power of authenticity. When you truly know yourself, you stop pretending. You stop seeking approval, copying others, hiding your personality. Instead, you become real. Authenticity is magnetic because it is rare, and that magnetism is the beginning of real power.
5. Confidence that attracts people. Confidence is one of the most misunderstood traits. Many think it means being loud, being dominant, always being right. But real confidence is quiet. Confidence is self-trust in action. The difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence is, I know my value. Arrogance is, I am better than others. Confidence attracts. Arrogance repels. Why confidence creates connection. People are drawn to certainty. When you are confident, you make others feel safe. You reduce social tension. You create trust naturally. Confidence signals, you can relax. I am in control of myself. The source of true confidence. Confidence doesn't come from validation, compliments, or external success. It comes from keeping your word, facing your fears, building competence. Every time you do what you said you would do, your confidence grows. Practical ways to build confidence. Take small risks daily. Start conversations. Speak up. Improve your skills. Competence builds certainty. Control your body language. Stand tall. Move calmly. Stop negative self-talk. Replace doubt with intention. The energy of confidence. Confidence is not just seen, it is felt. It shows in your posture, your tone, your eye contact, your presence. When you develop confidence, you don't need to chase attention. Attention comes to you. 6. Emotional intelligence mastery. If confidence is your outer strength, emotional intelligence, or EQ, is your inner control system. It is what separates average people from truly powerful individuals. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is your ability to understand your own emotions, manage your reactions, recognize others' emotions, and respond effectively in social situations. The 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. 1. Self-awareness. Recognizing your emotional state in real time. 2. Self-regulation. Controlling your reactions instead of acting impulsively. You don't explode, you respond with intention. 3. Social awareness. Reading people, body language, tone, emotional cues. You understand what is not being said. 4. Relationship management. Using emotional understanding to communicate effectively, resolve conflict, build strong bonds. Why emotional intelligence is power. People with high EQ stay calm under pressure, handle difficult conversations smoothly, build trust faster, influence without force. They don't just react, they navigate situations. Emotional control equals situational control. If you can control your emotions, you can control the environment, because most people react emotionally, lose composure, say things they regret. But when you remain calm, you gain the advantage. The person who controls their emotions controls the moment. How to improve your emotional intelligence. Pause before reacting. Observe instead of assuming. Ask questions to understand others. Practice empathy daily. Reflect on emotional situations. The hidden edge. Most people focus on what to say, how to act. Few focus on how to feel, how to manage emotions. That's why emotional intelligence gives you a hidden edge. Final insight for part 2. Inner power is the foundation of all external power. Self-awareness gives you clarity. Confidence gives you presence. Emotional intelligence gives you control. When you combine these 3, you become grounded, magnetic, and influential. And from that place, connection becomes effortless.
Part 3. The Art of Connection. 7. First impressions that stick. Before you speak a word, before you explain who you are, before people truly get to know you, they have already judged you. This is not personal, it's human nature. Within seconds of meeting you, people subconsciously decide, do I trust this person? Do I like this person? Is this person confident? And once that impression is formed, it becomes difficult to change. First impressions are not just important, they are powerful. The 7-second rule. Research and real-world experience show that it takes about 7 seconds for someone to form an impression of you. In those few seconds, people evaluate your appearance, your body language, your facial expression, your energy. Not your intelligence, not your achievements, your presence. What people really notice first. You may think people focus on what you say. They don't. They notice, 1, your energy. Are you calm or nervous, confident or unsure? Energy is felt instantly, and it sets the tone. 2, your body language. Before your words, your body speaks. Do you stand tall or shrink? Do you maintain eye contact or avoid it? Are your movements controlled or restless? Your body tells your story before you do. 3, your facial expression. A genuine smile creates openness. A tense or blank face creates distance. Your face signals, am I approachable or not? 4, your eye contact. Eye contact shows confidence, respect, presence. Too little, insecurity. Too much, intimidation. Balanced eye contact builds connection. The power of presence in first moments. Presence means being fully there, not distracted, not overthinking, not trying too hard. When you are present, you listen better. You respond naturally. You create comfort, and comfort creates connection. How to create a powerful first impression. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be intentional. 1, enter with calm confidence. Walk with purpose. Move slowly, not rushed. This signals control. Slow is smooth. Smooth is powerful. 2, make eye contact and smile. When you meet someone, look them in the eyes, give a natural smile. This instantly builds warmth and trust. 3, use a strong, clear voice. Speak clearly, not too fast, not too soft. Your voice should reflect certainty. 4, be fully present. Don't think about what to say next or how you're being judged. Focus on the moment and the person in front of you. 5, keep it simple and real. You don't need a perfect introduction. A simple, genuine approach works best. Nice to meet you. Good to see you. Authenticity always wins. What to avoid in first impressions. Over-talking, nervous laughter, avoiding eye contact, trying too hard to impress, looking distracted, phone, surroundings. These behaviors weaken your presence. The emotional impact of first impressions. People may forget your words, but they will remember how comfortable they felt, how respected they felt, how you made them feel about themselves. That emotional imprint stays. First impressions are about them, not you. Most people think, how do I look? Powerful people think, how does this person feel around me? That shift changes everything. The lasting effect. A strong first impression opens doors, builds instant trust, makes future interactions easier. A weak one creates resistance, requires more effort to fix, and limits opportunities. Final insight. You don't get many chances to create a first impression, but here's the secret. You don't need to be extraordinary. You just need to be present, confident, and real. Because in those first few seconds, you are not just being seen, you are being felt.
8. The power of listening. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, the person who truly listens becomes powerful. Most people believe communication is about speaking well, but the truth is, the strongest connections are built by those who listen deeply. Why listening is rare and powerful. Listen carefully the next time you're in a conversation. You'll notice. People interrupt. People wait for their turn to talk. People focus on what they will say next. Very few people actually listen to understand. That's why listening is a hidden advantage. When you listen deeply, you give people something they rarely experience, full attention. And attention is powerful. Listening creates instant connection. When someone feels heard, something changes. They relax, open up, trust you more. Because deep down, every person wants one thing: to feel understood. Listening is how you give them that feeling. The difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is passive, it just happens. Listening is active, it requires intention. Hearing focuses on words, listening focuses on meaning, emotion, intent. True listening goes beyond what is said, it captures what is felt. The emotional impact of being heard. Think about a time when someone truly listened to you. They didn't interrupt. They didn't judge. They didn't rush you. How did it feel? You felt important. You felt respected. You felt valued. That's the power you give others when you listen, and in return, they connect with you. How listening builds influence. People trust those who understand them, and you cannot understand someone without listening. When you listen, you learn what matters to them. You understand their perspective. You discover their needs and desires. This gives you the ability to communicate better, influence naturally, build deeper relationships. The more you understand people, the more influence you gain. The levels of listening. Not all listening is equal. Level 1, surface listening. You hear words but don't focus deeply. Easily distracted. Thinking about your response. Minimal engagement. Level 2, active listening. You pay attention and engage. You nod. You respond appropriately. You ask basic questions. Level 3, deep listening. This is where power lies. You focus fully. You read emotions. You understand what is not being said. You listen with empathy, not judgment. How to practice powerful listening. 1. Be fully present. Put away distractions. Stop thinking ahead. Focus completely on the person. 2. Don't interrupt. Let them finish. Interrupting signals what I have to say is more important. 3. Ask meaningful questions. Show curiosity. How did that make you feel? What happened next? Questions deepen connection. 4. Reflect back. Repeat or summarize what they said. So you're saying, "It sounds like." This shows understanding. 5. Observe non-verbal cues. Pay attention to tone, facial expressions, body language. Sometimes emotions speak louder than words. What to avoid? Checking your phone, interrupting, judging too quickly, giving advice too soon, turning the conversation back to yourself. These break connection instantly. Listening as a form of respect. When you listen, you're saying you matter. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings matter. And people never forget how you make them feel. The hidden secret of powerful people. The most influential people are not always the best speakers. They are the best listeners. Because they understand deeply, respond wisely, connect authentically. Final insight. If you want to stand out in any room, don't try to be the most interesting person. Be the most interested. Because the person who listens the best eventually becomes the person everyone listens to.
9. Communication that influences. Words are powerful. They can inspire or destroy. They can build trust or break it. They can open doors or close them instantly. But true communication is not just about talking, it is about creating impact. What is influential communication? Influential communication is the ability to express ideas clearly, connect emotionally, inspire action. It's not about sounding smart, it's about being understood and remembered. Why most people fail to communicate effectively? Most people communicate to impress, prove a point, show intelligence, but this creates distance. People don't connect with complexity, they connect with clarity and emotion. If people don't feel you, they won't follow you. The 3 pillars of influential communication. 1. Clarity. If your message is confusing, your influence disappears. Speak simply. Use clear words. Avoid over-explaining. Get to the point. Clarity builds trust. Confusion creates doubt. 2. Emotion. Facts inform. Emotion moves. If you want to influence, make people feel something. Passion, excitement, urgency, understanding. Emotion creates memory. 3. Purpose. Every time you speak, ask yourself, what is the outcome I want? Without purpose, words are random. With purpose, words become powerful. Speak to connect, not to impress. Many people try to sound intelligent. They use complex words, talk too much, over-explain. But influence works differently. Simple, clear, and real communication is more powerful than complicated speech. The power of tone and delivery. How you say something matters more than what you say. Your tone can build trust, show confidence, create emotion. Key elements: speak calmly, avoid rushing, use pauses for emphasis. Silence, when used well, is powerful communication. The rule of emotional alignment. If your words and emotions don't match, people feel it. For example, saying, "I'm excited," with no energy, saying, "I understand," without empathy. This creates distrust. Your message must align with your energy. Storytelling, the secret weapon. Facts tell, stories sell. Stories capture attention, create emotion, make messages memorable. Instead of saying, "Hard work is important," tell a story that shows it. People remember stories, not statements. The power of asking, not telling. Influential communicators don't just tell, they ask. Questions engage people, make them think, create involvement. Examples: what do you think about this? Have you ever experienced something like that? When people participate, they connect. Common communication mistakes. Avoid these: talking too much, interrupting others, using filler words like or speaking too fast, trying too hard to impress. These weaken your message. The energy behind your words. Your words carry energy. If you are nervous, people feel it. Confident, people feel it. Genuine, people trust it. That's why communication starts from within. The influence formula. Here is a simple formula to remember. Clarity plus emotion plus purpose equals influence. If one is missing, your impact weakens. Real-world application. When speaking to anyone, whether a friend, a colleague, an audience, focus on being clear, being real, and being present, not perfect. Final insight. You don't need the perfect words to influence people. You need honest expression, clear intention, and emotional connection. Because at the end of the day, people don't follow perfect speakers. They follow people who make them feel understood, inspired, and certain.
Part 4. Social influence and authority. 11. Becoming magnetic. Have you ever met someone who naturally draws people in? They don't chase attention.
They don't try too hard, yet people are curious about them, drawn to them, influenced by them. That is magnetism. Magnetism is the ability to attract people through your energy, presence, and authenticity. What makes someone magnetic? Magnetic people are not perfect. They are comfortable in their own skin, emotionally grounded, genuinely interested in others. They don't try to be liked. They simply are themselves fully. The energy principle. People don't just hear you, they feel you. Your energy communicates confidence or insecurity, calmness or anxiety, authenticity or pretense. Your energy enters the room before your words do. Traits of magnetic people. They listen more than they speak. They remain calm under pressure. They are emotionally balanced. They don't seek validation. They make others feel important. This combination creates a powerful effect. People feel good around them, and that feeling creates attraction. How to become magnetic? Be authentic. Stop pretending to fit in. Stay calm. Control your emotions. Be present. Give people your full attention. Show interest. Focus on others, not yourself. The secret. Magnetism is not about attracting everyone. It's about deeply connecting with the right people. 12. Body language that commands respect. Before you speak, your body speaks, and people believe your body more than your words. Body language is silent communication, and it determines how others perceive your power. Why body language matters. People form judgments based on posture, movement, eye contact, facial expression. These signals tell them, is this person confident? Should I respect them? Powerful body language signals. 1. Strong posture. Stand upright, shoulders back. This signals confidence and control. 2. Controlled movements. Avoid rushing or fidgeting. Slow, deliberate movement shows calm authority. 3. Eye contact. Maintain steady but natural eye contact. This builds trust and presence. 4. Open body position. Avoid crossing arms or turning away. Open posture signals confidence and approachability. 5. Calm facial expression. Relax your face. Tension creates discomfort. Calmness creates trust. What weakens your presence? Slouching, avoiding eye contact, fidgeting, nervous gestures, looking distracted. These signals reduce your perceived power instantly. The silent advantage. When your body communicates confidence, people take you seriously. Your words carry more weight. You gain respect without speaking. Your body can either support your power or destroy it. 13. The power of presence. Presence is one of the rarest and most powerful traits you can develop. It means being fully engaged in the moment without distraction or hesitation. Why presence is powerful. Most people are thinking about the past, worrying about the future, distracted by their surroundings. So when someone is fully present, it stands out. What presence feels like. When you are present, you listen deeply, you respond naturally, you connect effortlessly, and others feel it immediately. They feel seen, heard, important. How to develop presence. Focus on the person in front of you. Let go of overthinking. Slow down your speech and movements. Breathe and stay grounded. The power of attention. Attention is one of the most valuable things you can give. When you give someone your full attention, you are saying, you matter right now, and that creates instant connection. Presence versus performance. Many people try to perform in social situations. They think about what to say, try to impress, overanalyze everything. This destroys presence. Connection happens when you stop performing and start being. 14. Networking like a leader. Networking is often misunderstood. Most people think it's about collecting contacts, meeting as many people as possible, promoting themselves.
But real networking is different. Networking is about building meaningful relationships, not just connections. The leader's approach to networking. Leaders don't network for short-term gain. They focus on long-term relationships, mutual value, trust, and respect. Quality over quantity. It's not about how many people you know. It's about how well you know them, how strong the relationship is. A few strong connections are more powerful than many weak ones. How to network effectively. 1. Give value first. Don't ask, "What can I get?" Ask, "What can I offer?" Value builds trust. 2. Be genuine. Don't force connections. Be real. Be yourself. People can feel authenticity. 3. Follow up. Most people fail here. After meeting someone, send a message, stay in touch, build the relationship. Consistency strengthens connection. 4. Build relationships, not transactions. Don't treat people like opportunities. Treat them like people. Relationships create opportunities naturally. The power of your network. Your network influences your opportunities, your mindset, your growth. You become like the people you consistently connect with. Final insight for part 4. Social influence is not about controlling people. It is about attracting them through magnetism, communicating confidence through body language, connecting deeply through presence, and building lasting relationships through networking. When you master these, you don't chase influence. Influence begins to follow you.
Part 5. Advanced Connection Strategies. 15. Persuasion without manipulation. Persuasion is power, but it is also misunderstood. Many people associate persuasion with trickery, pressure, manipulation. But real persuasion is none of these. True persuasion is the ability to guide people toward a decision that benefits both sides. The difference between persuasion and manipulation. Manipulation is selfish. It hides the truth and serves only one side. Persuasion is honest. It aligns with the needs of others and creates mutual value. Manipulation may work in the short term, but it destroys trust in the long run. Persuasion, on the other hand, builds trust, respect, long-term influence. The foundation of ethical persuasion. To persuade without manipulation, you must be honest about your intentions, respect the other person's perspective, aim for a win-win outcome. If your goal is only to benefit yourself, you are not persuading, you are manipulating. The psychology behind persuasion. People don't make decisions based purely on logic. They are influenced by emotions, beliefs, past experiences, and then they use logic to justify those decisions. Emotion leads, logic follows. The core principles of persuasion. 1. Understand before you influence. Before you try to change someone's mind, understand it. Ask, what do they want? What do they fear? What matters to them? Listening becomes your strongest tool. 2. Align with their needs. Don't push your idea. Connect it to what they already care about. Instead of, "This is what I want," say, "This helps you achieve what you want." Alignment creates agreement. 3. Use stories, not pressure. People resist pressure, but they respond to stories. Stories create emotion, build understanding, reduce resistance. Instead of forcing a point, illustrate it. 4. Give people a choice. Nobody likes to feel controlled. When people feel they have a choice, they relax, they engage, they are more open. Freedom increases persuasion. 5. Build trust first. Without trust, persuasion fails. People must believe you are honest. You have their best interests in mind. Trust turns resistance into openness. The power of subtle influence. The strongest persuasion is often invisible. It happens through tone, timing, emotional connection. You are not forcing a decision, you are guiding it. What to avoid? Pushing too hard, ignoring the other person's perspective, using fear or pressure, being dishonest. These destroy trust and weaken your influence. The persuasion mindset. Shift your thinking from "how do I win" to "how do we both win?" That mindset transforms your communication. Final insight. Persuasion is not about controlling people. It is about understanding them so deeply that your ideas naturally make sense to them. When done right, persuasion feels like alignment, not pressure. 16. Handling conflict with power. Conflict is inevitable. In relationships, business, and life, disagreements will happen. But here is what separates powerful people from everyone else. It's not whether conflict happens, it's how you handle it. Why conflict creates opportunity? Most people see conflict as something negative, but conflict can reveal truth, strengthen relationships, create deeper understanding, if handled correctly. The biggest mistake people make: when conflict arises, people react emotionally, get defensive, try to win, and this escalates the situation. Reaction creates chaos, response creates control. The first rule: stay calm. Your emotional state determines the outcome. If you lose control, you lose clarity, you lose influence, you lose respect. But when you stay calm, you gain control, you think clearly, you lead the situation. Calmness is power in conflict. Separate the person from the problem. Don't attack the person, focus on the issue. Instead of "you're wrong," say "let's look at the situation differently." This reduces tension and keeps the conversation productive. Listen before you respond. Even in conflict, listening is key. Let the other person express themselves, feel heard, release emotion. When people feel heard, they become less defensive. Use controlled communication. Speak clearly, calmly, respectfully. Avoid raising your voice, using harsh words, interrupting. Your tone can either escalate or de-escalate the situation. Acknowledge their perspective. You don't have to agree, but you should acknowledge. Say, "I understand your point. I see why you feel that way." This builds respect. Focus on solutions, not blame. Blame keeps you stuck. Solutions move you forward. Ask, "how do we fix this? What's the best outcome for both of us?" Control your ego. Ego wants to be right, win the argument, prove a point. But winning the argument can mean losing the relationship. Power is not proving you're right. Power is maintaining connection while resolving the issue. When to walk away? Not every conflict needs to be won. Sometimes the most powerful move is stepping back, giving space, choosing peace over ego. The outcome of powerful conflict handling. When you handle conflict well, people respect you more, relationships grow stronger, you gain emotional control. Final insight for Part 5. Advanced connection is not about avoiding challenges, it's about mastering them. Persuasion builds alignment, conflict handling builds strength. When you master both, you become someone who can navigate any situation with confidence, clarity, and control.
17. Creating deep emotional bonds. Surface connections are easy. People meet, talk, laugh, and move on. But deep emotional bonds are different. They last. They influence decisions. They shape loyalty, trust, and long-term relationships. Deep emotional bonds are the highest level of human connection and the strongest form of influence. What is a deep emotional bond? A deep emotional bond is when someone feels understood beyond words, safe to be themselves, emotionally connected to you. It goes beyond conversation. It becomes attachment through trust and emotion. Why deep bonds matter. People may forget what you said yesterday, but they never forget how you made them feel, whether you understood them, whether they felt valued around you. Emotion creates memory. Memory creates loyalty. Loyalty creates influence. The foundation of emotional bonds. Deep connection is built on 3 pillars. 1. Emotional safety. People only open up when they feel safe. Safety means no judgment, no criticism, no pressure. When people feel safe with you, they reveal their real selves. Emotional understanding. It's not enough to hear words. You must understand the feeling behind the words, the pain behind the story, the intention behind the behavior. Understanding creates closeness. Emotional consistency. One good interaction is not enough. Deep bonds require stability, reliability, predictable respect and care. Consistency builds trust over time. How deep bonds are formed. Emotional bonds don't come from big moments alone. They are built through small conversations, honest interactions, and repeated emotional experiences. Depth is built in consistency, not intensity. The power of vulnerability. One of the fastest ways to build emotional connection is vulnerability. When you share your experiences, admit mistakes, express real emotions, you become relatable, and relatability creates closeness. People don't bond with perfection, they bond with realness. Active emotional listening. To build deep bonds, you must listen emotionally, not just logically. Instead of focusing only on words, notice tone, facial expressions, emotional shifts. Then respond with empathy. That sounds difficult, or I can understand why you feel that way. This makes people feel seen. Shared experiences build depth. People bond through experiences, not just words. Deep bonds form when you go through challenges together, share meaningful moments, solve problems as a team. Shared emotion creates lasting connection. What weakens emotional bonds? Avoid these behaviors. Ignoring feelings, being emotionally distant, judging or criticizing quickly, breaking trust repeatedly, only engaging when you need something. These destroy connection over time. Emotional reciprocity. Healthy bonds require balance. If one person always gives and the other always takes, connection weakens. Strong bonds have mutual care, mutual respect, mutual emotional investment. The role of time and presence. Deep bonds cannot be rushed. They require time together, attention during interactions, and emotional availability. Presence turns ordinary interactions into meaningful connection. The emotional mirror effect. People reflect how you treat them emotionally. If you are calm, they become calm. If you are warm, they open up. If you are genuine, they respond with honesty. Your emotional energy sets the tone of the bond. The real secret of deep connection. It is not charisma. It is not manipulation. It is not technique. It is this. People bond deeply with those who make them feel safe, understood, and valued consistently. Final insight. Deep emotional bonds are the foundation of lasting influence. Because when someone feels emotionally connected to you, they trust you more, they listen more, they stay loyal longer. And at the highest level, connection stops being an interaction and becomes a relationship that shapes influence, opportunity, and power.
Part 6. Becoming truly powerful. Chapter 18. Building a powerful network. At the highest level of success, power is no longer about what you know alone. It becomes about who you know, who trusts you, who you can reach, and who reaches you. Your network is your real net worth. What a powerful network really is. A powerful network is not a list of contacts. It is a system of trust, mutual value, long-term relationships, and shared opportunities. It is built on connection, not collection. Why networks create power? No one achieves greatness alone. Every opportunity comes through people. Jobs come through recommendations. Businesses grow through partnerships. Influence spreads through relationships. Your life expands in proportion to the strength of your relationships. The wrong way to build a network. Most people network like this. They meet people only when they need something, they focus on what they can get, and they collect contacts like trophies. This approach fails because it feels transactional, it lacks trust, and it creates distance instead of connection. The leader's way to build a network. Leaders build networks differently. They focus on giving first, building real relationships, and staying connected over time. Leaders don't chase opportunities, they create ecosystems of opportunity. The core principle: value first. If you want a powerful network, you must lead with value. Ask yourself, what can I offer this person? How can I help them grow? What problem can I solve for them? Even small value creates strong impressions. Types of value you can give. You don't need money or status to be valuable. You can offer information, support, connections, encouragement, skills or knowledge, attention, and respect. Value builds trust. Trust builds access. Access builds power. How strong networks are built. Strong networks are built through 3 stages. 1. Introduction. You meet someone new. Focus, be respectful, be genuine, create a positive impression. 2. Connection. You build familiarity. Focus, conversations, shared interests, emotional understanding. 3. Continuity. You maintain the relationship. Focus, follow-ups, consistency, long-term engagement. Most people fail at stage 3. That is where real power is built. The power of relationship depth. Not all connections are equal. A powerful network has weak ties, medium ties, strong ties, trusted relationships. Strong ties create influence. Weak ties create opportunity. Both are important. How to strengthen your network. 1. Stay visible without being annoying. Check in occasionally. A message, a comment, a simple greeting. Consistency keeps relationships alive. 2. Be useful, not just social. Don't just talk, contribute. Share opportunities, insights, help when needed. 3. Remember details. People never forget when you remember their goals, their struggles, and important life events. This builds emotional connection. 4. Build trust over time. Trust is not built in one conversation. It grows through repeated interactions, reliability, and honesty. The compound effect of networking. Networking is not instant. It compounds over time. One relationship leads to another. One opportunity leads to many. One connection opens entire systems. Small connections consistently built create massive long-term power. The hidden rule of networking. People don't remember everyone they meet. They remember how you made them feel,
Whether you were valuable, whether you were authentic, your reputation travels faster than you do. What breaks a network? Avoid using people only when needed, breaking trust, being inconsistent, ignoring relationships after gaining value. These destroy long-term influence. The mindset of powerful network builders. They think, how can I add value? How can I stay connected? How can I build long-term trust? Not, what can I get from this person? Final insight. A powerful network is not built overnight. It is built through consistency, authenticity, value, and trust. When your relationships are strong, opportunities don't need to be chased. They come to you. And at this level, you are no longer just connected. You are positioned at the center of influence.
19. Leveraging relationships for success. At a certain point in life, talent alone stops being enough. Skills matter. Hard work matters. Knowledge matters. But the real acceleration in success comes from something deeper. Your ability to leverage relationships. Not use people. Not manipulate. But intelligently activate trust, connection, and networks to create mutual success. What does leveraging relationships really mean? Leveraging relationships means turning trust into opportunity, turning connection into collaboration, turning networks into growth systems. It is the difference between moving alone slowly and moving with others quickly and strategically. Relationships become leverage when they create movement, access, and opportunity. Why relationships are the strongest form of leverage. Unlike money or tools, relationships multiply over time. Open unexpected doors. Create opportunities you cannot reach alone. One strong connection can introduce you to 10 others. Open a business deal. Change your career direction. People are the only asset that can actively expand your opportunities. The foundation, trust, comes first. You cannot leverage what you have not built. Before any benefit comes, trust must exist. Respect must be established. Value must be proven. Without trust, leverage becomes manipulation. With trust, leverage becomes opportunity. The right mindset, mutual gain. Powerful people never think, how do I take advantage of this person? They think, how do we both benefit from this connection? True leverage is always win-win. If only one side wins, the relationship collapses over time. Ways to leverage relationships positively. 1. Access through trust. Trusted people can introduce you to others. Recommend you. Open doors you cannot open alone. Your reputation becomes your bridge. 2. Collaboration opportunities. Strong relationships lead to business partnerships, projects, shared ventures. Collaboration multiplies results faster than solo effort. 3. Knowledge exchange. People in your network may teach you skills, share insights, guide your decisions. Information inside networks is often more valuable than public information. 4. Resource sharing. Networks can provide tools, capital, support systems, opportunities. Not because you demand it, but because trust allows it. The invisible currency, reputation. In relationship leverage, reputation is everything. People ask, can I trust them? Are they reliable? Do they add value? If your reputation is strong, doors open easily. If it is weak, doors stay closed. Your behavior today becomes your access tomorrow. How powerful people leverage relationships. They do not chase people.
They build long-term trust. Stay consistent. Give value first. Maintain emotional intelligence. Then opportunities emerge naturally. The difference between leverage and manipulation. Leverage, mutual benefit. Manipulation, self-centered gain. Leverage builds trust. Manipulation breaks trust. Leverage, long-term value. Manipulation, short-term gain. Leverage strengthens relationships. Manipulation damages relationships. If trust is broken, leverage disappears. The compound effect of relationships. One strong relationship leads to another introduction, another opportunity, another level of growth. Over time, your network becomes a system of acceleration. Success becomes faster when it is shared. Common mistakes people make. Avoid only reaching out when you need something. Ignoring relationships after success. Treating people as tools. Failing to give value back. These destroy long-term leverage. How to sustain relationship leverage. To keep your network powerful, stay in touch regularly. Offer help without being asked. Celebrate others' success. Be reliable and consistent. Consistency turns connections into long-term power. Final insight. Leveraging relationships is not about using people. It's about understanding human value, building trust deeply, creating mutual opportunities. Because at the highest level, your success is not just what you build alone, it's what you build through others. When your relationships are strong, aligned, and meaningful, you no longer chase opportunities. Opportunities begin to move through your network towards you.
20. Sustaining power without losing yourself. Reaching power is one thing. Staying powerful without losing your identity is another. Many people rise quickly in influence, success, or social power, but along the way, they lose something more valuable than status. They lose themselves. The hidden danger of power. Power changes how people treat you. It can bring attention, respect, opportunity, influence, but it also brings pressure, expectations, temptation, and ego inflation. If you are not grounded, power can quietly reshape who you are. Why people lose themselves. Most people lose themselves because they begin to chase approval instead of truth, perform instead of being authentic, prioritize image over character, surround themselves with yes people. When perception becomes more important than identity, you begin to drift away from yourself. True power requires inner stability. Sustainable power is not loud. It is built on emotional balance, self-awareness, strong personal values, and internal discipline. If you are not stable within, external power will destabilize you. The ego trap. Ego is one of the biggest threats to sustained power. It whispers, "You are above others. You must always win. You must be seen as always right." Ego creates distance from people, and power dies without connection. The higher you rise, the more dangerous ego becomes. Grounded power versus inflated power. Grounded power, calm, humble, consistent, respected. Inflated power, loud, arrogant, unstable, dependent on validation. Grounded power lasts. Inflated power collapses. How to stay grounded while growing powerful. 1. Stay connected to your values. Ask yourself regularly, what do I stand for? What kind of person do I want to remain? Values act as your anchor.
2. Keep real relationships. Do not surround yourself only with admirers, followers, people who agree with everything. Stay close to people who tell you the truth, challenge you, keep you humble. 3. Avoid validation addiction. Do not depend on praise, likes, attention, or approval. If validation becomes your fuel, you lose control of yourself. 4. Practice humility in success. Success should not change your respect for others. Treat people the same whether you are winning or learning. Humility preserves connection. 5. Reflect often. Self-reflection keeps you aware. Am I still aligned with who I am? Am I acting from ego or purpose? Awareness prevents drift. The paradox of power. The more powerful you become, the more careful you must be. Because influence grows, attention grows, ego temptation grows, but so does responsibility. True power is not about how high you rise, but how grounded you remain while rising. Signs you are losing yourself. Watch for constant need for validation, arrogance or superiority, losing old values or principles, feeling disconnected from genuine relationships, acting differently depending on audience. These are warning signs. How powerful people stay real. Truly powerful individuals stay humble regardless of success, keep simple routines, value honesty over image, prioritize meaningful relationships, remain self-aware. They do not become someone else, they become more of who they truly are. The ultimate balance. Power should enhance your identity, not replace it. You should become more confident, more aware, more influential, more grounded. Not fake, ego-driven, disconnected, dependent on status. Final insight. Sustaining power is not about controlling others. It is about controlling yourself while everything around you changes. Because in the end, the strongest form of power is not influence over people, but mastery over self. Closing of the book. You began this journey learning how to connect. Now you understand how connection becomes influence, influence becomes power, and power must be grounded in character. If you master everything in this book, you will realize one final truth. You don't need to chase power. You become powerful by becoming someone people trust, respect, and naturally connect with.
Conclusion. The real meaning of power. You started this journey with a simple question. How do I create connection and become powerful? But by now, you should see that the answer was never about tricks, status, or control. It was about something deeper. Power was never external. Real power is not found in money, titles, fame, or authority. These are only expressions of power, not its source. True power begins within you and expands outward through connection. Connection is the core of everything. Every opportunity in life comes through people. Relationships open doors. Trust creates influence. Understanding builds loyalty. Emotional connection creates lasting impact. Without connection, even the most talented person remains limited. With connection, even average ability can become extraordinary. The transformation you've made. If you apply what you've learned, you are no longer thinking the same way. You now understand. Power is influence, not control. Connection is emotional, not transactional. Listening is more powerful than speaking. Confidence is quiet, not loud. Trust is built through consistency. Presence creates impact without words.
This is a complete shift in mindset. The real path to becoming powerful. Becoming powerful is not a destination, it is a continuous process of becoming more self-aware, more emotionally intelligent, more authentic, more grounded, more connected to people. Power is not something you acquire once, it is something you maintain daily through who you choose to be. The final truth about influence. At the highest level, influence is simple. People follow those who understand them, respect them, and make them feel seen. Not those who try to dominate them, not those who try to impress them, not those who try to control them, but those who connect deeply and consistently. Your responsibility now. Knowledge alone changes nothing. Application changes everything. So, from this moment forward, speak with intention, listen with presence, build relationships with honesty, lead with value. Stay grounded in who you are, because every interaction you have is shaping your level of power. Final message. If there is one idea to carry with you, let it be this. You do not become powerful by rising above people. You become powerful by connecting with people so deeply that influence becomes natural. The ending that is really a beginning. This book does not end your journey. It begins it. Because now, every room you enter, every conversation you have, and every relationship you build becomes an opportunity to practice what you've learned. And if you stay consistent, you will not need to announce your power. People will feel it in your presence. The journey of connection is the journey of power. And now, it is yours to live.